Welcome back, Swifties. Today I'm back with Betty from the Long Pond Sessions. Now, if I'm getting this right, August was August's point of view of a summer affair with James. And is this one James's point of view of the summer affair with August? Maybe Taylor's going to tell me now.
One of my favorite things about this record is the fact that there's this trilogy of three, the trinity of Betty, August, and Cardigan are all like, we made August together, we made Cardigan together, we all three
is perfect.
Made Betty together. And Betty was, I just heard Joe singing the entire fully formed chorus of Betty from another room.
Yeah.
And I just was like, hello.
You're like, I do this professionally.
Hello.
I'd love to have a conversation.
It was a step that we would never have taken because why would we have ever written a song together?
I thought you were doing a bit when you're like, Joe and I wrote a song, and then I was like, what? And I thought it was going to be like, you know, like people write like cute songs about their animals in relationships. And then you're like, no, we wrote like a real song. And I was like, what? And then you sent it to me, and I was like.
So this was the first time we had a conversation where I came in and I was like, hey, this could be really weird and we could hate this. So could we just, because we're in quarantine and there's nothing else going on, could we just try to see what it's like if we write this song together? So he was singing the chorus of it and I thought it sounded really good from a man's voice, from a masculine perspective. And I really liked that it seemed to be an apology. And I've written so many songs from a female's perspective of wanting a male apology that we decided to make it from a teenage boy's perspective, apologizing after he loses the love of his life because he's been foolish.
Allegedly.
No, he's been foolish.
No, according to the internet, we don't know what it's about.
He's been foolish.
No, I mean just.
We wrote it. I'm confirming he's foolish.
Well, I don't know who blamed Bauer.
He was a fool.
So, yeah,
he was a fool.
Yeah, funny stuff, man.
Betty, I won't make assumptions about why you switched your homeroom, but I think it's 'cause of me. Betty, one time I was riding on my skateboard when I passed your house. It's like I couldn't breathe. You heard the rumors from Inez. You can't believe a word she says most times, but this time it was true. The worst thing that I ever did was what I did to you. But if I just showed up at your party, would you have me? Would you want me? Would you tell me to go myself or lead me to the garden? In the garden, would you trust me if I told you it was just a summer thing? I'm only 17, I don't know anything, but I know I miss you. Betty, I know where it all.
First thing I'm noticing is I'm going to start this again. It's nice, isn't it? The guitar sounds. It's got some Beatles vibes to it, hasn't it? Which inevitably creeps into everybody's music. I remember watching the Get Back film, the Peter Jackson thing. I don't know if anyone's watched it on Disney Plus as well. It's awesome. You know, just 8 hours of them writing and putting an album together. And one of the things that I found fascinating about that was the dynamic between them all and the way they sort of worked things out, and it brought back lots of memories of the way I've worked when I've been in, you know, particular bands. The sort of dynamic that occurs, and it did occur to me, is that just how it works in bands? In good bands, anyway. It hasn't worked, I would say, in all my bands, but is that the way it works in bands, or is that the way it works because of the Beatles and you know that's how deep their influence seeps into the rest of popular music. Also, you know, the two acoustic guitars together are nice. I'm not sure if there's an effect on maybe on one of them, because I can kind of hear a 12 string, but it doesn't look like either of them are playing a 12 string.
Betty, I won't make assumptions about why you switched your homeroom, but I think it's 'cause of me. Betty, one time I was riding on my skateboard when I passed your house. It's like I couldn't breathe. You heard the rumors from Inez. You can't believe a word she says most times, but this time it was true. The worst thing that I ever did was what I did to you.
It is very Beatlesy, isn't it? Very sort of Paul McCartney-esque of some of his changes and stuff. On the subject matter, young love is an interesting thing, isn't it? Because this is even, I guess, before I know she spoke about, you know, that we know all too well, the sort of younger person, older person relationship. But even by then, she's like 21. But this is like teenage love, isn't it? You know, still at school love, which is interesting. Those feelings are interesting, aren't they? You know, as you are just sort of developing as a person, you know. And it's nice, even for myself, I suppose, to reminisce on those things that maybe, you know, are they love? Were they really love? What is love? You know, how do you describe it? Recently, I think I heard somebody say that love is wanting to include another person in your life. Yeah, perhaps it's all love, isn't it? You know, when you play with your dog, in that moment, you know, you're experiencing or showing or sharing quite an intense moment of love, right? So maybe it just takes different forms. So I guess I do not mean to minimize, I suppose, those teenage years and that teenage love. It's all great fuel for the fire, isn't it? Of who you are and who you will become. Also, apologies. That's good, isn't it? You know, it's the measure of a man when he can admit that he's wrong and stuff. You know.
But if I just showed up at your party, would you have me? Would you want me? Would you tell me to go myself or lead me to the garden? In the garden, would you trust me if I told you it was just a summer thing? I'm only 17, I don't know anything, but I know I miss you.
The bounce of that. It's very Paul McCartney sort of vibes on this one, isn't it? I'm liking it.
Betty, I know where it all went wrong. Your favorite song was playing from the far side of the gym. I was nowhere to be found. I hate the crowds, you know that. Plus I saw you dance with him. You heard the rumors from Inez. You can't believe a word she says most times, but this time it was true. The worst thing that I ever did was what I did to you.
Let's take it back a little bit. So there's something going on with it. He's jealous. That's interesting as well, isn't it? Jealousy, especially I suppose when you're young. Is jealousy something you grow out of? Should it be something you grow out of? What's the difference between like jealousy and envy? I've often pondered this question.
Saw you dance with him.
Saw you dance with him. Sorry guys, I just need to find this.
The gym. I was nowhere to be found. I hate the crowds, you know that. Plus I saw you dance with him.
He was nowhere to be found. He hates the crowd. So that's like an excuse or a justification. That's a nice little line, isn't it? That he's preemptively saying, you know, where he was, which I'm assuming was a lie, wasn't it? You know, he was with August, and then the added justification of plus I saw you dance with him. It's pretty funny, isn't it?
You heard the rumors from Inez. You can't believe a word she says most times, but this time it was true. The worst thing that I ever did was what I did to you. But if I just showed up at your party, would you have me? Would you want me? Would you tell me to go myself or lead me to the garden? In the garden, would you trust me if I told you it was just a summer?
It's a nice chorus, this, isn't it? It is the thing. Even like lyrically, it's kind of got that Paul McCartney bounce to it, hasn't it? Like, you know, the idea of would you still love me when I'm 64? You know, but this is of course 50 years chronologically before that kind of thing. But it's very nice.
But if I just showed up at your party, would you have me? Would you want me? Would you tell me to go myself or lead me to the garden? In the garden, would you trust me if I told you it was just a summer thing? I'm only 17, I don't know anything, but I know I miss you. I was walking home on broken cobblestones, just thinking of you, and she pulled up like a figment of my worst intentions. She said, James, get in, let's drive. Those days turned into nights, slept next to her, but I dreamt of you all summer long. Betty, I'm here on your doorstep, and I planned it out for weeks now, but it's finally sinking in. Betty, right now is the last time I can dream about what happens when you see my face again. Let
me take it back to the start of this bridge, middle eight. There's the idea of, I guess, of planning out things to say. I think as a teenager, I might have done that a few times. You know, perhaps thinking maybe I liked a girl, and I think I'm gonna plan this. I'm gonna plan this out. You know, what I'm gonna say. Maybe even rehearse it. You know, might have even written a letter or two at some points. But life isn't a movie, is it? Well, it is a movie, but maybe not the movie. It's not a Hollywood movie, not the movie we think. So, of course, humorously, in hindsight, I suppose, those things don't always go to plan. Although perhaps happy accidents and romantic things perhaps do happen by accident, don't they? I once asked a girl if I could kiss her. That went down pretty well.
Betty, I'm here on your doorstep, and I planned it out for weeks now, but it's finally sinking in. Betty, right now is the last time I can dream about what happens when you see my face again. The only thing I wanna do is make it up to you. So I showed up at your party. Yeah, I showed up at your party. Yeah, I showed up at your party. Will you have me? Will you love me? Will you kiss me on the porch in front of all your stupid friends? If you kiss me, will it be just like I dreamed it? Will it patch your broken wings? I'm only 17, I don't know anything, but I know I miss you. Standing in your cardigan, kissing in my car again. Stopped at a street light, you know I miss you.
Cool, man. Nice little number, that, isn't it? Nice to explore some more of the story. I think I'll go back and have another listen to August, and with the new added context, you know, two sides of the story. Good stuff. Thanks for joining me, guys. Have a great week. More Taylor Swift coming soon. Lots of love to you. See you soon.